What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Sportorium podcast. We have a special episode today, our first hockey episode. We've all been wanting to record this for a while, and obviously we have Mike with us. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
So starting off, we're going to talk about a few players who have been really good this year. Some of them we've expected, but guys like Jason Robertson, he's coming out this year, scoring a bunch of goals. He's having a great year so far.
He is killing it. I'll tell you, I saw a stat yesterday. I don't know where it was on social media, but through their first, I want to say 150 games between him and McDavid, I think McDavid has like 20 more points than him, but Robertson has like 40 more goals.
Yeah, I saw the exact same thing.
Deal. Like he knows what he's doing. Granted, he was a little bit older through his first, however many games, but
yeah,
I love the way he plays.
Yeah, I think he came in when he was like 21, 22. With McDavid, he came in at 18. So
yeah. Plus, McDavid had a much worse team, honestly.
And he got injured.
Yeah, that too.
So he coming back from that injury, he was a little slow at first.
Yeah,
definitely.
But if you could be compared to McDavid in anything at all, you're doing something right.
Yeah,
I want to see how many other first-year/second-year players are compared to McDavid.
Yeah,
a very small list.
Yeah. And then even McDavid himself, he's just scoring a lot more goals this year. Never got the Rocket Richard so far, and he's just like, yeah, I want that trophy. I'm just going to win it now just because he's that good and he can.
That's an insane freaking goal to put on yourself. Yeah, I'll just win the Rocket Richard. No big deal.
It's actually crazy. He's literally almost averaging 2 points per game. He's just under 2 points per game right now.
It's insane how good he truly is.
It really is.
Another guy putting up some crazy numbers right now, Tage Thompson. Love Tage Thompson, that absolute behemoth of a man. He's 6'7". He skates around like he's a sniper. Has one of the best shots in the league.
I'm surprised you don't like Buffalo more, especially because you got an affiliation with the Devils there.
I got a little soft spot for the Sabres. I will not lie, but I am
jerseys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, but I love my Islanders. But I mean, just that whole line has just been great for the Sabres. They've been pretty good on offense just in general, the Sabres, but they're not ready yet. They're such a young team, and I think they have a good future. They got a lot of young pieces that have been playing pretty well. Owen Powers look pretty good so far. A lot of other young guys, but they're not ready yet.
You know what the downside is for the Sabres is they have Dahlin, who's great. He's fantastic, but that's about it. It seems when it comes to defense, their goaltending is just always like plug and play. So they never really have that kind of a goaltender who's going to take them far. They had Leonard for a while. I forget who the more recent, really good goaltender was, but I honestly don't even know who their goalie is this year.
Craig Anderson.
Oh yeah, see
you're not going anywhere with him.
Yeah, he's old. So, I mean, it's, you got to love some of the young stars that they have going on with them. Like you're saying, Thompson, Owen Powers, Dahlin, but they got to do something with that back end and their bottom, the bottom half of each, their forward group and defensive group are rough looking.
Because even like Dahlin and like Power, they're more of like in the offensive end, like they're offensive defensemen. So, I mean, they're pretty good defensively too, but they don't really have any guys that are like locked down and they're giving up a lot of goals. They're scoring a lot of goals, but they're giving up a lot of goals.
Yeah, that's something you see quite often with young teams is that they'll really put it in the net quite often, but it's a pace that can't control itself and won't last, and definitely won't work well in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, look at the team like the Maple Leafs every year going out in the first round with that high-powered offense.
Yeah, you got to find that balance.
Good future, though.
Definitely.
Excited for the future for them.
Definitely have a good upcoming, couple of years here.
Yeah, and then another guy that's been very good offensively, scoring a lot of goals, Bo Horvat. Canucks have been pretty hit or miss this year, but I mean they have some really good pieces. But yeah, he looked pretty good this year. He's kind of slowed down. He started the year really, really hot, but he's still having a good year though.
I'd love to see what you guys think about the Canucks as a whole because they have some pretty impressive pieces on that team. They have Horvat, Besser, who obviously has been having a tough time. They got JT Miller. They get, a couple of Pedersons on that team too, right? So they have a really good lineup there. But for some reason it never works well. They have all these random pieces that just do really well. I mean, I think I saw again a stat yesterday that said something like JT Miller has like 0 goals in his past 10 games.
Yeah.
And that's a guy that we were talking about last year at the trade deadline was supposed to be getting 2 first-round picks for him. Now you're looking at a guy who's like maybe a second-round pick for him based off his value this year,
I think they're going to go into a rebuild because, I mean, like, you even heard all the stuff about, like, Bo Horvat getting traded, Brock Besser. I mean, even though Pedersen might be going soon after that. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's like they're looking to get rid of all their players that are actually producing. So I don't really know what they got going on over there.
Yeah. They do have like a lot of good pieces, like you were saying. They just can't figure out like the whole team aspect of it.
They have no depth like through their forwards either. Like I honestly couldn't name you any of their bottom 6 forwards.
Yeah, a couple of them are complete no names.
Yeah.
It's tough, but I mean, when you have a team that has Pedersen, Horvat, JT Miller, Brock Besser, Quinn Hughes, that's like 5 all-stars that I just named right there. You know what I mean? We're talking about a team that's full of really good players. Why can't they make something out of it? And part of me wants to say it's the coach, but they had success initially when Bruce Boudreau came in. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe they got to put their money in a different avenue. Maybe that's the reason.
Another guy that's been disappointing this year, Victor Hedman. So he ended up losing his spot on the first power play to Mikhail Sergachev, and Hedman is just not. I mean, he's kind of starting to heat up a little bit these past few games. He has 1 goal on the year, and I mean, he's just been disappointing, just very disappointing. The Lightning have still been great, and I mean, it makes sense to put Sergachev on the power play.
Yeah, he's like the future of their defense. So he just signed a big deal. He's younger. He's honestly might be better than Hedman now overall.
Yeah.
So, I like Hedman. I've always felt like Hedman is a great defenseman, and his offensive stats are a product of an insane offense.
Yeah, especially on the power play.
But I think it's about time. I mean, they moved on from McDonough, right? And I think that was one of the first signs that it was like, all right, we're trying to move from our old core to our new core. Like saying with Sergachev, having him coming in, and there are a couple others that they signed 8-year deals to this offseason. Hedman might just be on his decline. I could be wrong. He could come out and have 60 points over the next 40 games, but as of right now, it looks like maybe he is just starting to slow down, and injuries and long seasons are getting the best of him.
Yeah. It's weird to see, but I mean, he is getting older, so it's definitely a possibility that he is just kind of falling off right now.
I'll tell you what, though, it does reflect on the defense a little bit in general for the Lightning. Similar to the Rangers, Vasilevsky isn't having his best year, and therefore the team is letting in a lot of goals. Now, granted, with the Lightning, you can make up for that because you have an insane offense. But Vasilevsky's not having a Vezina caliber year so far, and I think his defense is partially to blame to that. I think he's probably getting hung out to dry. They gave up 7 to the Red Wings yesterday, so I mean that's pretty shocking to see that a 14-11 team is taking down or putting in 7 goals against a 20-11 team. So who knows? We shall see.
Yeah. So some guys that we are kind of expecting to get traded at this point. One of the top guys, Patty Kane. I hope he gets traded with Jonathan Taves somewhere. That'd be great to see. As long as it's not the Rangers, I'd cry.
It would be insane to see a team take $18 million in cap.
Yeah,
I don't think it's possible, honestly, at this point. Yeah. Take both of them. Wishful thinking, though, James.
But their contracts are up after this year, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're.
So I mean, like, that's also a thing. Like, how much do you think he's going to get paid on his next contract?
It's tough.
Like, what is he worth? It's tough because I mean he is still putting up numbers on that terrible Chicago team right now.
I mean,
Well,
obviously he's not having a great year, but
And
it's not really his
I
fault.
think everyone like it pretty much he's 100% going to get traded at this point.
Yeah, I'd say like you kind of have to.
Like he
Like,
stayed in Chicago long enough. Like at this point, like they're completely rebuilding, and I mean I don't blame the guy for wanting to leave.
yeah,
yeah.
and
He's at the end of his
he
career.
yeah, he deserves to go somewhere that
But
he
like
has a chance
anyone
to get
that
another ring.
any like team that gets him, like that's taking their offense to a whole another level.
Mhm.
Definitely. Well, I think it started with them with the trade rumors maybe 2 years ago when the team decided, oh yeah, we're going to rebuild, and I think Kane and Taves were both like, why? What?
Yeah,
Like we still feel like we have a championship team. They offloaded a lot of pieces, and like you were saying, I wouldn't be surprised if he truly wants to get moved somewhere. A couple of the teams I've been hearing, obviously the Rangers are one of them. Kane and Panarin have that connection that's just otherworldly at this point. But I also heard the Canes that
I
they were,
heard I heard a bunch of teams: Islanders, Rangers, Hurricanes, Bruins. That would be insane. Him and
God,
Pastrnak, like that team
that'd
would
be
be insane.
ridiculous.
Avalanche were one of the teams.
wow.
It was all like good teams, all like
Yeah.
playoff teams.
He'll end up going to Blue Jackets and not.
Yeah, probably. I'd love to have him on the Islanders though, especially the respect that him and Barzy have for each other. That'd be awesome to see them play together.
I wonder how it would click though. I mean, where do you think he would fit in the Islanders lineup? Obviously, he'd be probably the first right wing, but then who does that move down?
Josh Bailey or whoever they're I mean, because right now the Islanders' first line is kind of just plugging people in with Barzell and Wallstrom.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you
think
could.
Kane, Barzell, and Wallstrom would be a good line because, like, I mean, Kane could shoot also, but he's more of a playmaker. Barzell's obviously just a playmaker, and then you have someone like Wallstrom as a lethal shot, so he has two people playing with him that
Yeah,
could feed him the puck.
that'd
yeah.
be an awesome line to see. I'd love that.
Imagine now on the Rangers. Think about it, right? So you have honestly, I wouldn't put him on the first line with the Rangers. I would put him with Panarin on the second line, obviously because of the connection that they had. But then you have a weird kind of position, right? So you have most likely something of Mika, Kreider, and one of the two young kids on the right wing, and then the second line would probably be like Kravtsov or Kako with Panarin and Kane. Regardless, I think it's the same general idea, right? Like we have both teams have like a set center for number one and number two. Um, it's just trying to figure out who exactly would pair up with them.
Yeah, it would definitely be a nice improvement for either team. Whoever gets him is getting a
Yeah, any
stud.
team like in the league could use someone like him.
Yeah, especially a nice veteran presence for some younger teams.
I wonder where he would fit in on like if he went to the Rangers, like on their power play.
That's a great question. Probably move Trocheck out of there, honestly.
Yeah, oh yeah, I didn't even know he was on their power play.
He's been doing good though. He had a couple of points over the past few games, power play wise.
But then you got to remember if you're getting Kane, you might also be trading like one of those players.
Yeah, that's true. Patrick Kane had 92 points.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's putting up numbers on that terrible team.
Yeah. I mean, he has not been that good this year though. It's granted it's not his fault, but I mean, 4 goals, 18 assists on the year so far. I'd like to see better numbers, but I mean that team's
Also
just
his
terrible.
plus minus is god awful.
It's been pretty bad.
Yeah.
Another guy that I would expect to get traded at this point is Brock Besser. I've heard some Islanders talk. I mean, it seems as though the Islanders are just like in on everybody, but they're not actually in on anybody.
Yeah.
But I expect him to get traded soon. There's a lot of contract dispute there.
Was Brock the one that was healthy scratch not too long ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he was a healthy scratch, but then ended up playing that night and like scored a goal.
Somebody got hurt, I think.
In like pregame warmups or something.
And then he scored.
Yeah, but he was supposed to be a healthy scratch. So
also speaking about healthy scratch, what was up with Kevin Hayes getting scratch?
I love it. I love the way
it's so weird
takes his approach to his team. He benches literally the best player on his team. even though he's been putting up points constantly.
Yeah. And then he's like talking about like he's talking to the media. He's like, you're trying to put me and Kevin Hayes against each other. I'm just not even going to answer these questions. Like you just helped he scratched him. What do you mean? You're putting yourself against him.
Yeah.
What I would have paid to be a fly on the wall in that locker room when Torts comes in and tells Hazy that he's not playing that night. I would have loved to see it. Probably a blow up between the two of them because they're both expressive people, you know?
Yeah. Torts is one of those guys that like he's so entertaining, but I would not want him to coach my team at all.
He'd be screaming at you every day.
Yeah. That'd be wild.
Yeah. I could see Brock Besser probably going to like a central or probably a central team. Honestly, I could probably see him going to like a Colorado Avalanche to stabilize their type of lineup. He is a great player. He's definitely got some potential. You look at his past couple of years, he's put up around 50 points every single year that he's played. That's a good 2-3 right wing kind of guy. That's somebody that's going to take your team and hopefully take them from the second or third round to the Eastern Conference Final or the Stanley Cup Final. You know what I mean? I don't know what his contract's looking like, but I can't imagine he's going to get much more than, I don't know, probably $5.5 million next year if he's going up for a contract. Shall see though.
So there have been a few teams that have been pretty surprising this year. Starting off with the Devils, went on an absolute tear for a while, but the downfall has occurred already. To no one's surprise.
I wouldn't say they're on a downfall yet. I mean, they just won like last night. But yeah, I could see them dropping in the standings relatively soon.
Yeah, I mean, they were so good for that stretch. It's hard to maintain that. So
I have a full-blown hatred for the Devils. I think I hate the Devils more than I hate the Islanders. And I hate the Penguins more than I hate the Islanders now too. So let's start with the Devils. Though I've been saying this since the beginning of the year, ever since they started off hot. I knew the Devils were going to collapse, and I knew it for one reason, and one reason only, and it's because Lindy Ruff is the head coach. And there were so many years that he was in Buffalo that they started off insane. They would have the same thing. They would have like a 10 to 15 game winning streak. Look like they were just going to take over the league. Eichel would be putting up 1.5 per game at least, you know what I mean? And then they would collapse. They would lose, 15 out of their next 20, keep just falling off, and then it was rebuild again the next year. The Devils, they frustrate me because their fans are worse than the team actually is. Some guys on the Devils that I love, like Brendan Smith is one of them. Jack Hughes, another guy. That dude's just, he kills it. Jesper Bratt, however you want to say it. He's also great, but they throw a lot of money at some free agents every now and then. Last one that I remember that failed was Pavel Zacha. This one, I feel like it's going to be Andre Palat. I'm concerned that the Devils put all their eggs into one basket and then blow it again. And that's maybe what we're seeing. I don't know what you guys think, though.
Yeah, even Dougie Hamilton, they also him. I don't know how much they paid him, but they gave him a decent contract.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I just think, obviously, yeah, like Jack Hughes, they have like a lot of offensive talent, but they got a lot of small players too on offense. Like they don't really have like physical players. I mean, Miles Wood's pretty physical, but I mean,
Ryan Graves on the back end, he's a pretty big, strong dude, along with Dougie Hamilton. But I know what you're saying. They don't
really got like either. They don't got a lot of like veteran, like people that been in the playoffs before. They don't have too many guys.
Yeah.
They're still in a good spot right now, and they're still winning games.
I mean, the Metro is just insane right now.
It is.
Aside from the Flyers and the Blue Jackets, those are all playoff teams.
Yeah, literally.
Toughest division in hockey.
Yeah, and both our teams just happen to be in it.
Yep, it's tough. It's tough.
Gotta love that.
Yeah, but I mean, they have a great offense. They have just like good pieces all around. Jack Hughes is just great. I love Jack Hughes.
Yeah,
and he's just so funny in his interviews. He was what do you call a Gatorade
They say Gato.
Gato, yeah, just like random stuff like that. But yeah,
He got a
I
lot
think
of
they're still in a
hate
good
too. His like
spot.
first year because he wasn't really putting up
Yeah.
numbers.
I mean, he was like a small 18-year-old kid,
Yeah.
and they just like threw him into the fire and expecting him to be like a point per game, just like instantly. But we've definitely seen him, especially this year above all. He's just like he's become just a stud.
I think what you see with him and Jesper Bratt too is that they're young kids who have been put into big roles and have they maybe took a couple of years to kind of get into that role, but they're really starting to get confidence with it. Hughes makes some plays during games that I'm like, wow, he is as confident as he can possibly be. You know, he'll go around defenders easily and put like, you know, I think it was against the Rangers a couple of weeks ago. He tucked a goal in short side against Shesterkin. Looked insane. I was thinking to myself, Lafreniere would never. But I mean, you know, sometimes you got to get put into those roles and um, you know, really embrace the idea that you are that guy, and then you become that guy. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he reminds me a lot of the young Patrick Kane.
Yeah,
with the way he plays.
definitely.
Another team that's been absolutely fantastic, very surprising that they've been this good is the Bruins. They've been ridiculous. Pastrnak is just he's gonna get an insane bag.
Yeah,
deservedly so.
Let me ask you this: is it surprising that the Bruins are doing this good, or is it surprising that they weren't doing this good with basically the same roster last year?
I'd say it's a mix of both because I mean for them to only lose how many games they lose in regulation this year like four. Yeah, that's like they're insane. And I mean it's not surprising that they're this good, but like I don't know.
I mean, because you look at their roster, it's like they probably have one of the best rosters on paper in the league.
Yeah, they're ridiculous and just like goaltending this year, just everything is just going for them.
I'll tell you what, I love Jeremy Swayman, but Olmark, he's got it right now. Like,
oh yeah,
he knows what he's doing. He is insane. Swayman's great too. I mean, it's an incredible 1-2 punch they got there. With
yeah, it is.
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at their lineup, like you were saying, you know, when Brad Marchand is probably your fourth or fifth best forward, that's saying something. I mean, that is like really saying something. You know what I mean? They are going off right now, and I don't see them stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, Taylor Hall's like back to like Taylor Hall, like that year he was on the Devils.
Yeah, they're going crazy right now.
Yeah, and Marchand missed some time too.
Yeah, I mean, if Marchand didn't miss any time, he'd probably be right behind Pasta in points. But...
yeah, and Charlie McAvoy's playing really well right now. He missed a lot of time too.
You know what I've seen is wasn't there rumors about DeBrusque being traded?
Yeah, I think that kind of just went away because they finally started using him how they should use him.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you know if he's on a contract year. I'm not really sure if he is or not, but if he's on a contract year, it's a possibility that they'll trade him. I think it would be honestly similar to like a Taylor Hall traded for Adam Larson type deal. Though,
yeah,
where it would be like a 1-for-1 player for player type thing, just to find somebody who's maybe a better fit. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive what their lineup has been doing, and who is it? Jim Montgomery behind the bench, who's the head coach. He's I'm glad he's getting his chance because you know as you can, I don't know if you guys knew, but he was on Dallas's bench a couple of seasons ago and then taken off for alcohol policy, substance abuse, and really great tenured NCAA coach. You know, it's nice to see him start getting his way with you know, full-time NHL roster and making something out of it. So pretty good.
Another team that we're going to touch on is the Seattle Kraken. They're definitely very good this year. Got some good offensive. They just have some good players all around. A lot of young guys stepping up too. Miss Jordan Everly.
Yeah, he's doing well right now.
Yeah, and Matty Beniers. Yeah, he's
a stud.
Yeah, he's a stud.
He's playing really well right now. It's a lot of guys just playing well right now. They have good pieces. It's not like they were supposed to be a bad team, but a lot of things are going their way so far this year.
something I'd love to hear what your guys' opinion is on this, but when Seattle came into the league and a lot of their expansion draft picks were not guys that you expected.
Yeah.
They were a lot of kind of developing people or kind of role guys. And then it seemed like through the year last year that they were just acquiring pieces, a lot of veteran pieces. They were almost taking like an Arizona Coyotes type approach of just, hey, we'll take your old guys and move on with it. It's worked though. I mean, you look at some of the veteran players that they have on their team, they give a lot of space for these young guys like Berniers and Wright, or like Morgan Geeky's on that team. He's, he's a killer on that team. Oliver Bjorkstrand's on that team too. But you have older guys, you have Vince Dunn, Adam Larson, Justin Schultz, Jamie Alexiak. Like these are guys that 2-3 years ago, people would never even come close to like trying to lay out one of their guys on the ice because they would be there to answer the bell, I think maybe that's the reason that the Kraken are doing so well. They're riding the success of a great balance between rookies, or not rookies, but young guys and old guys.
So a team that has definitely been disappointing this year, the Blue Jackets. Obviously, they get Johnny Hockey the offseason. They got some good guys, but they've been really bad. They've been really bad, especially that a few weeks ago against the Sabres, let in 1 million goals. It was pretty embarrassing for them.
What was it? 6 in the first period they gave up against the Sabres.
Yeah.
4 on 4 shots from Tage Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
That's
tough.
Period.
I don't know.
Tage is a beast, but
I don't know what Johnny Hockey was thinking going there.
Yeah. Even literally as soon as it happened, I was like, "What? Why?"
I don't understand. A team like the Devils.
Yeah.
The craziest part was when he said to the Islanders, or about the Islanders fans booing him. He was like, "I don't know why they're booing me. I wasn't even talking to them the entire."
Dude, that was so annoying.
I'm thinking of to myself, why? Why are you talking to somebody from Ohio in this organization that's just been floundering for years, and you didn't even talk to the Islanders, or maybe you talked to the Rangers, but doubtful, honestly. But you know what it is? Their only hope is to tank for Bedard right now. It's the only hope that they have. They have just not had it together.
That team is just a disappointment. I mean, Laine's missed some time, but he's also not having a good year. And actually, Gaudreau's stats aren't even that bad, honestly. Like he has 34 points right now.
I actually thought he had plus minus though.
Minus 14. So
yeah, like last year he was a plus 60 or something.
Yeah, plus 64.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous.
I mean, if I'm Bedard, I don't even know what team I want to go to.
Yeah. Do you want to go to Ohio or Arizona?
Maybe. I mean, honestly, the Ducks might be like a team I would want to out of all those bad teams right now.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, Chicago, I definitely wouldn't want to go to. They really don't have any pieces right now, especially with Kane and Tays probably leaving.
They have I'd say pretty easily the worst future because there's just nothing in sight for them.
Yeah, they don't have anything.
Like literally nothing.
They've kind of been rebuilding for like a while now.
Yeah.
They started rebuilding with like 2016.
Pretty much.
Along that lines. I'll tell you this with the Blue Jackets, though. I am concerned about Patrick Laine. I can easily see him being unloaded during this.
I would take someone like him in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I mean, he is just underperforming because of I think generally it all relies on all is blamed to the coach, honestly. I think that they have an okay team there. They have some pieces missing, but their goaltender is an average goaltender. He should be able to win, 20 games a year, if not more, 30 games a year. And they have some good pieces in there. They have Gaudreau, they have Laine, they have Werenski, but do they have anything else? Do they have a good strategy? Are they able to utilize these pieces? Not that I've seen.
Not looking like it. Yeah.
Not that I've seen. So I wouldn't be surprised if Laine gets unloaded this offseason and then Gaudreau asks to waive his no trade clause in a couple of years.
It would surprise me.
and go to an actual good team in the Metro.
Yeah, that was so surprising when it happened, and that made me very upset. And it really pissed me off that like how the Islanders weren't even talking to him.
Yeah, it was like all like the reporters. It was like the Islanders were in like
It's like it's the final team. It's down to them and somebody else, and then just out of nowhere, it's Blue Jackets. It was like what was it? It was down to Devils and Islanders apparently, and then last second,
yeah, Blue Jackets have a bunch of injuries right now too.
yeah,
They have like 7 players on IR.
that's pretty terrible.
They have some like young players that are good too. Oh, Cole Sillinger, that guy's good.
He is.
He's hurt though. I mean, Voracek went out in like the beginning of the year. Boone Jenner's out now.
I think they said Voracek might be done for the season.
Yeah, Varensky's out.
That's bad.
Jake Bean's out.
Yeah, so those are definitely some pretty important guys that are missing time. So that's part of it, but there's no end in sight for them. That is positive.
Got a tank for Bedard.
Yeah.
Then he's going to be like Lafreniere and have a bust season.
But could happen.
No, Bedard's probably going to be like a beast right away.
Yeah, I'd expect that. He's so good. It's ridiculous.
He's basically going to be like someone like Cole Caulfield, but just like a lot better.
Yeah.
He has the same level of hype that McDavid had.
Yeah, he does. Honestly, and everyone was kind of. I remember hearing about McDavid, and I was kind of like, "Oh yeah, we'll see." And then like I see the guy play in the NHL, and I'm like, "Geez."
Yeah, I mean, Lafreniere had a lot of hype too.
He did, yeah. I don't know what's going on. I think that was. I want to say David Quinn was the reason to blame for Lafreniere because he didn't get any. He really, like we were saying before about some of the guys on Seattle who are or New Jersey who are given the opportunity to get put into big roles and stay there for a while. Even still to this day, like Lafreniere gets 2 games on the top line and then gets put back down into the third line.
Yeah,
so it's tough.
That's what happens with a lot of the young players too. It's like coaching decisions plays a big factor. I mean, that's kind of similar to like Wallstrom for the Islanders. I feel like I don't know they don't give him really a chance to develop. Like he doesn't get a chance in the shootouts. He doesn't get a chance on the power play. That's like when you should be using a guy with a lethal shot like that. I mean, he's getting first line minutes, so I mean,
it's definitely better this year.
Yeah, this year it's a lot better with that Barry Trotz leaving. Last year he was getting literally no chance to do anything under Trotz.
He was in the doghouse forever.
Yeah,
typical Trotz style.
Yeah, Trotz. I
hates the kids.
You'd see even like someone like Sebastian Aho on the Islanders, not the one on the Hurricanes. He's playing a lot better this year with Trotz, like not like all over. Same thing. That was like Dobson too.
Wasn't Aho paired with Chara last year?
Yeah, I mean that was just last year was just like a mess. Yeah, like, I just want to forget that and never like.
That'd be nice.
So everything that could have gone wrong was just going wrong.
Yeah,
they got so unlucky last year. Just like,
but now it's like the Metro's so competitive. It's like, are the Islanders even going to make the playoffs? Who knows?
Yeah, it's tough. It's a good transition into tonight's game. Big game, Rangers Islanders.
Yeah, the last only 3 times this year. It's weird.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about how the NHL made the worst schedule in the history?
Scheduling's bad this year.
Yeah. That's so weird. I actually don't understand.
And then they're talking about adding 2 games. What's the point of that?
Yeah, I'd rather not play Seattle and Arizona and play the Islanders a couple more times.
I would kind of like them to take like maybe like a baseball schedule type approach, like maybe go into like these little series. Like
I think that'd be really cool.
I think that would be good. I mean, yeah, it's like, why do you shouldn't have to play every team. I mean, it's just like unnecessary traveling. Like, why would you have to play a team like the Sharks like twice?
Yeah, you could play them once. You know, this year you play them at home. Next year you play them away.
You should be playing everyone in your division like 5 to 6 times at least.
Definitely.
I think it makes it more fair too. It's like you're competing for your division.
Yeah, against your division.
It's like if it comes down to it, like it's like say like the Islanders win tonight against the Rangers. It's only 3 games, but it's like the Islanders won all 3, and it's kind of like an unfair 3 games to base it. Like say the Islanders and Rangers are tied at the end of the year and it goes to like tiebreakers. It's kind of just like unfair.
Yeah.
Where if they played 6 times, Islanders could have won the first 3 and the Rangers won the next 3. I
Mm.
just feel like it's
Let's go
unfair.
ahead.
Like
Let's
it's
avoid the
unfair.
talk of the Islanders winning tonight, because
What?
so let's avoid the talk of the Islanders winning tonight. Let's
The
try to.
Islanders, it's a big game tonight because Islanders are 3 points, I think, behind the Rangers with
Yep.
the game in hand, I believe. So
I
Yeah,
think Rangers would leapfrog the Pens tonight if they won, so that'd be nice.
yeah, the Metro is so close,
I
and,
believe
and
that
the,
is the case.
the Capitals are right behind the Islanders and Rangers now too. So
Yeah,
Stressful, man. I hate the Metro. Why
yeah,
can't
it's
we
so
Yeah.
be
annoying.
Atlantic or something?
and now,
Yeah.
especially with the Devils being added into the mix, it's like now we got to worry about somebody else.
Tell you though, I think the Devils are going to fall out of it. I think that I truthfully think both Islanders and Rangers are making the playoffs this year. I don't think we're going to get blessed and get a playoff matchup, but I think
Who knows? If they both win the first round, they would play probably.
they would have to. Yeah,
I'm anticipating an Islander wild card spot just because I just think like, I mean, I think the Hurricanes are going to win the division.
Yeah.
And then you got like the Penguins, maybe Rangers in there, and then hopefully the Islanders is one of the wild card. I could really care less as long as if we make the playoffs, I'm happy.
Yeah, but I mean, we do have Capitals breathing down our necks right
Yeah.
now. This is
I
definitely a very big game right now.
Yeah, I
I
think
want to see how the I guess attitude on the ice, or the feeling on the ice, is going to be different because Ryan Reeves is no longer there, and I want to see what it's like. I want to see if the Islanders players might start taking a little more liberties and start hitting people a little more aggressively.
yeah, the Islanders that's their style. That's what they gotta do against a team like the Rangers. They have a lot of like weapons on offense. You gotta be like
Be physical.
pressuring them and hitting them any chance you get.
Yeah, and if the Rangers can counteract the Islanders' forecheck and get out of their zone quickly and get those, like, the biggest thing, I hate this about the Islanders, it's so pesky, but you guys, they love to just forecheck the hell out of teams. They are so aggressive. And the
Very aggressive.
Rangers sit back, and that's like they always start their play right in front of the net, so it's a problem. Like as soon as you start putting pressure on the Rangers, they get swarmed. So I'd love to see what Gerard Gallant does. Probably won't do anything, guys. Loony, but
I'm assuming Shesterkin's playing.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so Shesterkin, Sorokin. It's always fun to watch those two goalies go against each other.
Yep.
Just glad it's not Varlamov.
Yeah.
Your killer.
Cal, who's placed on IR, I believe. So
that guy's made out of glass. We just got to get rid of him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's old at this point. He's getting hurt left and right.
Pellick's still out too, huh?
Yeah.
That's tough. But there's been a lot of guys that have stepped up for the Islanders. Like Fashing has looked pretty good.
Yeah, I would rather Fashing just take Clutterbuck's spot permanently in the lineup.
Yeah.
He has more offensive abilities, younger, could do everything he could do.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I want to see a good game from the young guys today. I'd like to see Vitaly Kravtsov is coming back into the lineup today. Or no, I'm sorry, Gauthier is coming back into the lineup, but that means Kravtsov gets bumped up to the next line. I'd love to see him get a point though. I think the bottom six for the Rangers is going to make a big difference today. So we shall see. Islanders are going to do what they do though. They're going to be pesky forecheckers.
Yep.
Yeah, the Islanders just need to stay out of the box too. Their penalty kill hasn't been great. I know the Rangers power play hasn't been amazing recently, but it's still like a good power play. And our penalty kills started off really good, and it's just kind of been going downhill since.
Yeah, specialty teams could make a big difference as well.
And obviously Sorokin.
They started to get hot on that power play over that 6-game win streak, but it cooled off substantially during the Penguins game. So yeah, I'd love to see what happens. It'll be a good game.
Expecting to be just a nice good old New York brawl.
Yeah,
and,
everybody's gonna hug and kiss at the end.
They love each other.
Did you see how much prices for tickets were tonight at MSG?
Nah, I didn't even look.
God, I don't even want to know.
Cheapest seat was like $190.
Oh my God.
It's
That's
honestly
ridiculous.
not as bad. That's not even as bad as I thought it would be, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so rough, man. You got to sell like your arm and leg just to get into the freaking MSG.
Yeah.
And then you got some bozo who's never watched hockey before sitting in front of you, standing up there in the play. Oh, I have one more thing I want to talk about. So I don't know if you guys watched the Rangers Pens game the other day.
Yeah, I watched it.
This is a really hot take, and this is something I've been kind of talking about on my Twitter quite often. And describing to you guys as well is I think that Wes McCauley is the worst ref in the NHL.
Yeah, he's like just the most overrated ref. It's just because he's known to be a little funny and stuff like that, but he's made some bad calls and no calls. So
yeah, he pulled the wool over everybody's eyes because he made some funny calls like you were saying, the 5 minutes each for fighting.
yeah,
Did some stuff like that. But I mean, he just watched Mika Zibanejad get tripped. Well, we had an empty net, could have been a complete game changer. Only down by 1. At that point, you would have been up 6, a 6-on-4 power play. That's a big difference. And he just watched him get tripped and was like, yeah, nah, it's fine. Let the play go. I mean,
what a guy.
Insane. He did that in the playoffs too. I was screaming about it then. It's a hill I'll die on. I'll take that stand to my grave. So.
But yeah, like you said, he's got a little bit of personality. He's just like a big name for a ref at this point. So
yeah. So one last thing. I'm just curious in your guys' opinion. I may be a little biased because the Islanders aren't great in the shootout, but what are your thoughts on the shootout? Do you think that they should keep it, get rid of it, change to maybe just a longer overtime, adding ties? I don't know.
Steve, I'll let you go first.
All right. I mean, it's tough. I wouldn't really hate like adding ties instead of the shootout because, like, I mean, the Islanders are just god awful in the shootout, so it would definitely benefit us. But I mean, it's also something that like that's been in the game for so long, and it's kind of it's just like such a big part of it. It would be really tough to take it away. I wouldn't hate to see that out of the game.
When did they add the shootout?
It was 05. It was right after the lockout. I respectfully disagree, Steve. I like the shootout. I hate the idea that it's a skills competition, but James, like you were saying, I would be completely fine with a longer 3-on-3 for the overtime.
Yeah,
if they did a 10-minute period, that'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, I would say do 10-minute 3-on-3 and then just add ties. If it's a tie at the end, each team gets a point.
Yeah. I feel like that's fine. Just ties in general. Just like because there's so many games in a season, it doesn't matter.
Because and then like I said it too, it's like, I mean, if you watch 3-on-3 a lot, I've seen a bunch of games. It's like I feel like if they added it where there is potentially a tie, players would take more chances trying to score because a lot of the time it's like a possession game for 4 minutes and each team takes 2 shots and that's it.
Yeah. Because like 3-on-3 hockey for 10 minutes, like there's most likely there's going to be some offense and some.
Yeah, or maybe you could even do like 5 minutes 4-on-4 and then go to the 3-on-3.
Yeah, that's true. One thing I noticed, somebody mentioned it quite a bit ago regarding the 3-on-3 and what you were saying with the possession is, you ever watch the guys and they'll come in, they'll try to set up and then they'll just kind of
just skate out of the zone.
They'll cycle back into the neutral zone. I think if they were to actually like penalize that, like maybe not like an actual penalty, but give them like an icing call for that every time they did that and make it an offensive zone face-off for the other team.
Yeah, or maybe do it like you can't do it 2 times in a row. Like you enter the zone, go out, you can't do it again without like taking a shot or something.
A drastic change, though. It would have to be like something they would have to implement some sort of like brand new rule. You know what I mean? It would be a lot for them, but it just kills it. It kills the momentum when they're just skating back and forth and just circling around.
This could be a thing too. I mean, maybe try adding a shot clock.
Just for the overtime. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, just for the overtime, like 3-on-3. I don't know.
That's actually a pretty great idea. I gotta
say. I know. I just thought of that now. It's kind of cool.
It's a pretty good one, man.
Like maybe a minute. When you get into the zone, maybe it's like a full minute. You have to take a shot.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot of stuff.
I feel like bottom line is they just need to add more time to that. Just in general.
Yeah, I agree. It's too quick for just like a 2 possession game. You know what I mean? Like mini game or whatever. But
it's like entertaining to watch 3-on-3 hockey. So
it is.
That'd be better. They have some questionable just like their marketing in general is just really bad for the NHL. So
I think we were talking about the global series not too long ago where they just
didn't know what happened.
Didn't tell anybody and they're just like, oh yeah, there's games at 2 a.m. tonight or something
Yeah.
like that, you know?
And last year, I remember I put on like the Predators game, and it was like an outdoor game, and I was like, I
Yeah.
didn't even know this was an outdoor game.
Yeah.
No idea.
Speaking of that, can we get an Islanders Rangers outdoor game again? That was
Be
like the
nice.
greatest thing.
What was that in like 2013? They had one.
Yeah, that was such a great series. They had it between both the Islanders, Rangers, and Devils, and that was awesome. We could do
That'd be
that
awesome.
at MetLife. You know what I mean? Like
That'd be cool. That's like there's so easily you can make something like that. Like you see in baseball, the Subway Series is one of the biggest rivalry that they have. So then they make this huge thing out of it. They could so easily make something like that with the Islanders Rangers.
Especially with both teams being like good, pretty good teams now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, that concludes this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys like the hockey episode, let us know. Till next time.
Let's go, Owls.
Go Rangers.
Let's go, Owls.